Welcome back, guys. So I'm Joey Davis with DCW Hardwoods here in Myrtle Beach. We're doing a series with Clean Armor on how to spray finish and clean up and set up, and just a whole series on how you can get a better results with your Clean Armor. So as you can see here, we've got all these sanded and ready for another coat. These have already have a sealer and top coat on them. So what we're looking to do now is just get ready for our final coat. These have been sanded to 320. So you can see there's dust on them. So what I have here is a clean t-shirt rag from your local paint company, and this is just a bottle of ISP alcohol, okay? So what we're gonna do right now is we're just gonna wipe these back, get all the dust off of them, and get them ready for finish. So depending on where you're at in the finish process, you wanna do the first thing without any alcohol, all right? And just get all this loose dust off, all right? And the reason why I'm not using alcohol yet is because I don't want to, if I do that, it's going to tend to cake up and want to be in here and leave little streaks everywhere. Where I can just do it dry for the first time, it gets the majority of it off, it comes off and doesn't leave a bunch of streaks. So coming down, wipe with the grain as best you can. That way everything kind of falls off. If you go back and forth, you're going to start leaving piles of dust everywhere. Okay, so always when you're wiping your finish, whether it's finish or dust or everything, always go with the grain. That is always going to give you better results with anything you do with finish work or woodworking in general. And probably should be wearing dust collection or dust mask at this point, but let's be real, we've all probably inhaled worse things in our lives. Okay. So this is our initial wipe off. Now, once I'm done with that, I'll shake this off and then I'll squirt alcohol on the rag and the workpiece.
Hey, Joey, you've forgotten to say the most important thing.
What's that?
It's how great the Blue Cure guys are.
Oh, they are pretty awesome. They're really good at holding cameras. All right. Almost here. So put on the rag. Now, once you wipe this down, do not touch it with your bare hands. Ever. Your hands, I don't care how many times you wash them, have oils in them. That will cause issues with any finish. Doesn't matter if it's Blue Cure or Clean Armor or the lacquers or anything like that. Never, ever, ever touch this top with your bare hands. You're getting ready to put a finish on, because it can cause anomalies. So always wear gloves when you're doing final finish work and wiping things off. Now, one thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna skip for just 1 second, is we're gonna, because this customer wanted a more natural feel to it, we've got little low spots and high spots and so on. So this is just a brush, airbrush with air hose in it, and we're going to make sure that these knot holes and everything are blown out, because we don't want to have white spots of finish under our clear coat. This is going to blow all that out. I know this hurts your ears, y'all, sorry. So that way we don't have any little white surprises in our finish. So we've got two different tops we're working on here. These are pre-made, not by us, customer bought tops. These are a plantation teak right here that I'm wiping my hand off, and this one here is plantation teak. And then this over here is maybe acacia from Home Depot or something. Not top quality stuff by any means, but this is what the customer wants, so this is what we're doing. So this is going to be for a drop-in sink.
Hey, Joey, I'm seeing here, I don't know if I can get it on the video, some gloss spots. Let's talk about those real quick. We get a lot of questions about sanding flat, or can I leave, this doesn't look like it's laying right or sanding right. So what do you have to say to that?
So you see shiny spots and dull spots, okay? Now remember, this is a very, very hard finish, all right? So these are lower spots. This is the high spot. So when we're doing our coats and stuff in between, I was teaching one of my team members here how to do finish work, and he got a little orange peely. So you're going to see more of that. Now, once we spray our coat over this, all that's going to disappear. All right, what we're looking for is just to get any real high spots off. This, I mean, 1 micron difference is enough to show sheen and a reflection, but once you put a top coat on, it's going to disappear.
So you're not sanding flat, you're more deglossy.
Well, so we ask our customers every time, because we all we do is custom work. I ask my customers, so do you want a glass flat plasticky feel, or do you want it to feel like wood? All right. Do you want it to feel texture when you go over your hands? Do you want it to look like wood? Both ways are sealed. Both ways are protecting the wood. All the grains sealed, all the knots are sealed. One has texture, one doesn't. And the majority of our customers choose texture. So I'm not trying, I want all these grain lines to appear. I want them to see right here? You've got shiny in there, but the grain line here is dull. Mm-hmm. So when we lay this out, there's going to be texture to the feel. The other thing is these are laminated tops, and when they're made in these factories, they do not orientate the grain flat, so on and so on. They just throw them together. So I've got side grain, long grain, flat sawn, quarter sawn, rift sawn, and so they're all going to sand differently. They're different trees in there. They're not even from the same tree, just the same species. So there's so much variance with tops like these. They're never going to sand perfectly flat. You can forget it. The only way you're going to get it flat is if you just put lots of coats on and keep sanding them back, and then you're going to get a glass flat. The other reason why I don't worry about this is that we typically use satins. And with custom work and long-term, I mean, I've got pieces of furniture that are 17 years old, and I find that a satin long-term hides scratches, hides dirt, hides imperfections better than anything else. If any of you have ever owned a glass table, every single thing in the world shows on it. Doesn't matter if you can clean it perfectly and you're going to see a streak in it. So using a satin and allowing a little bit of texture, what that does is that makes everything look more uniform. It hides imperfections, and let's face it, we have tons of lighting in this room in every direction. It's designed to show flaws. And most of your finish shops that you guys are working in have lots of lighting too for the same reason, so you can see the flaws. When you get into a customer's house, they usually have a chandelier or one lighting. It's very poor lighting, or they have ambient lighting from a few windows. Your customers' houses are not what's in your finish rooms, and they're never going to see what you see. They don't have the trained eye for it, and they don't have the lighting for it. So at some point, you have to say, okay, it's wood. It's not meant to be perfect. All right? It's kind of a diminishing returns at some point. So we ask our customer what they expect, and we're very clear on that. Most of them choose a texture, and most of them choose a satin because they can all relate to having glass tops. Very seldom do we don't do flood coats with epoxy. It's a terrible top coat. It's very temperamental. It's very expensive. You can put clean armor right over a river table without any issue at all. It goes great on top of epoxy, and we only have to sand the epoxy to about 150. Versus if you're using a Rubio Monocoat or Odie's oil or a lot of the other finishes, you got to sand up to thousands of grits and buff it out. Especially if you're using a flood coat, it's tons of work, tons of hours, and it's really hard to make money doing it that way because you've got so much time in buffing and making sure that epoxy top coat is perfect. If you just allow the wood to be wood and leave a little bit of texture there, all that texture blends beautifully. It feels like wood, it feels natural, it looks beautiful, and it comes out great. And you'll see that here later in another video, how these things come out. Mm-hmm. And this kind of texture here, you just don't worry about that. What you want to look at is, does it feel flat? Does it feel good? Are there any high spots or nibs? When you're sanding, you just want to look more for grain line and that you have a consistent back, okay? Remember, your high spots are the only thing that's going to be sanding. If you're sitting here trying to sand and get everything where it all looks dull, you're going to kill yourself and you're not going to make a lot of money because your finish work's going to take too much time. So stay tuned. We'll show you the relevance in that and proof of that later on in another video. I can't show you now because we don't have a top coat of these pieces. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. We'll have another video shortly.